queued our way here.
Uh-huh.
Neither of us have ever actually had a teammate. My teammate Ben, who you did a lesson with a while
Yes.
ago, he's a plat 2.
He's at plat 2 right
But
now.
he's a plat 2, so he has never really he hasn't progressed any further. He's the same Rocket League player. He doesn't play that much. He just plays silly in the afternoon. He gets high as a kite and comes on and plays Rocket League, and that's
Yeah.
that's pretty much him on repeat every single afternoon. So he's in it for the fun, and he is getting like a little bit better, but mechanically not really.
I mean,
And
that's
and it has a lot
fine.
to do with oh, that's right. He just plays for the fun of it, and unfortunately for me, I can't. So everything from
Uh-huh.
forever and onward has been based around solo queuing, and that's ultimately
Yeah.
when I posted in a Facebook group, uh, guys, I'm looking for someone to help, to work together to finally push up into champion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when Toxic, another guy actually came on, and I just good player, same sort of thing. I played with him a little bit this morning, and we won 3 games in a row.
Okay.
But we just have different gameplay styles where I need to I have to adapt to their gameplay style because the adaptation doesn't go both ways. So you're forced to make adaptation to others.
Right.
Um,
And I
and and
understand.
Toxic and I have one last thing really quick.
Sorry.
Toxic and I do have good gameplay styles that we are a lot better molded. I wouldn't say we're at 100% yet, and that's why you're here, because you're going to make us go nice molded, wonderful couple where we're just killing it together. And I
Yeah.
think that yeah, Toxic definitely has a very good learning ability and adjustments. He's very
Oh,
quick at adjusting.
awesome. That's what I like to hear. Now, when it comes to what we're going to probably talk about, since this is Diamond, it's mostly going to be probably fundamentals that are missing. I'm going to see plays like that. I assume I'll look at it and I'm going to be like, okay, you went for that play because you know like your teammate, right? And you play around their behavior and everything. But on the mess ups, the mistakes, usually that happens when the game pace is like picked up and whatnot. And it kind of forces you to act more on instinct than it does like you thinking out things methodically, and that's where we're going to look to see like where the actual thought process goes wrong in the game and what we can do to improve it. It's just like, that's how I think is going to be the best way for you to be able to play solo queue and to be able to climb just fine. And then I also think that it does end up helping teammate ability as well, because no matter what, I mean, if you guys already click with each other, right? Then it doesn't really matter where you guys go in the game, that you kind of always just have some sort of connection and be able to play off of each other. But understanding the fundamentals better is going to make both of your gameplays like insane. So
Sweet.
you'll see like two pro players that play doubles together really well, but they can also play with other people because not only do they like understand what their teammates' behavior and their opponents' behaviors are going to be, but they can also play off of the people specifically on what they know. Okay, he's really good at these kind of clears, or like he gets these passes down mid like perfectly over here. And you just kind of like move into general spots, and you guys probably are getting really comfortable with each other, which is good. But we're gonna try to see where the thought process is, and there might be plays that you guys think are good, but are actually very bad, and that's typically what I see. Where like when I'm usually dealing with duos, it's like they'll be happy with a certain play that they were able to pull off together, but when I look at it, it's usually like, well, the thought process doesn't make any sense here. It just works because you're playing against these people who don't expect this kind of teamwork. But in reality,
Mm-hmm.
you have all these other plays that you can go for that are much easier to accomplish, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's look through. Any questions, by the way, before we go like into this, or
Not a
yeah?
question, but this game we lost.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's the replay. But
Okay.
we felt like we played really well in the beginning. We felt we played well throughout it.
This
Mm-hmm.
one we just
We were
played.
winning. Yeah, that's right. We were winning really
Yeah.
well in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and then we slipped in decision making and all that sort of stuff. Like our decision making does take effect, and you see that.
Right.
I
So
think
So
I'm Kanaz.
yeah. So we're going to kind of view this. We can do this a couple different ways. I think it's pretty useful to switch between both people. So I'll probably just start on just I'll kind of be switching between people, just seeing like who has possession and where like the other person's going to be, and then we'll talk about like both, in full. So everyone ready? We're good to go.
mhm.
Okay, perfect. Let's go into this. There won't. I think there might not be sound, which is fine because I have to share screen like this. But I think I don't remember if I talked to you about this a long time ago because I remember we went over gameplay, but this is fine like to do just because it's a really safe way of doing things, but as the game pace picks up, you're gonna want to actually just move over to the right and like what I would like to do is whatever side you're on, you want to grab the corner boost on that side. If you want to play more defensively, what you can end up doing instead is, and that's unfortunate the boost isn't up there, but you can start off here and then you'll like come across right and then grab this boost. And if you're really worried about getting scored on, you can turn defensively up the wall and start playing defense like this. But if you want to turn aggressively, you can also turn like that. The reason why I don't really like people backing up like this into the boost and then going forward is that you have no momentum going into the play, and you'll only have 45 boost. So you'll have to pick up momentum at 45 boost rather than already having momentum at 100, which I think is just generally this is the stronger play. It's just that you decide whether you want to be a defensive player or whether you want to be more aggressive, and you can make that decision by looking at the play too. But just try to get more comfortable with going to the corner boost instead of just staying in this middle. So I'm gonna watch the kickoff. I don't like the kickoff here, Toxic. So mostly because you're using all your boost and then moving over to the doing like kind of a, I don't know how to describe it really, like middle, and then you like right flip into it to kind of push the ball into your back right side. This would be really good if you guys were talking to each other about the play, and if I zoom kind of out, if we had, I guess like Tyrone or Tyron, like what should I?
Yeah, it's Tyrone.
Tyronton. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was getting that right. So if Tyronton was going over to the right side, right, and then picked up this boost and was moving aggressively, this play is amazing, right? And like we end up working like that. But like going for this kind of push without that kind of a discussion is kind of just leaving a lot of open space for Orange to come in. And I believe Tyrone should be able to get to this ball because I don't expect this guy to make a proper play and push it back to his teammate. But
so
this is just a
random
pretty
point of view.
Yeah.
The play he's made isn't great if you're just playing with randoms, but Rick does let me know, like if he's going left or right or attempting to, he will say, I'm going to hit it to the right. So yeah, he does do that. Yeah,
okay. So it is a pretty inconsistent way of kind of like using the kickoff. The other thing that I really don't like, especially, is that you'll have 0 boost after this play. What you should be doing is getting comfortable. Are you comfortable with using a flip on your kickoffs?
The speed flip.
Yeah, just like, no, not a speed flip. You don't even have to do that. It's literally just using boost and then flipping later, which if I can, let me go here real quick. It's as simple as settings, turn that off. It's as simple as doing this, right? And then having boost after the fact, right? 17 boost after the play is much more effective at being able to go up in the air and make some kind of aerial. Rather than having 0 boost after the play. So even just getting comfortable with that for now is good. You can learn to speed flip later, but it's not really that necessary. But using up all your boost makes it so that you're kind of restricting what kind of plays later you'll have, which again might not be a problem in a team environment because you can more reliably count on your teammate, generally speaking, or your teammate can let you know if he needs help desperately. But in a random scenario where you're not sure whether your teammate's going to make the play or not, you need to have all the boost you can at every given moment to capitalize on whatever is coming at you next. So you won't have boost on this play. You're way down the field, so you're just going to have to come back. I think that there should also be hustle in your gameplay. Like right here, you flip after the play. You already know that there's boost on this side, so you can use a flip to generate some speed and already go into this boost pad and then start moving across. But from what I see here, this looks like that you're just kind of chilling and you're not worried at all, even though Orange has full possession. Now, Orange is giving away the ball here, so it's not too big of a deal for you because these people are super bad. But keep that in mind that if the gameplay starts picking up and everything, you want to be in position already, get yourself moving on the field, and every moment you have that you see you have open space, you got to start generating momentum. So let me switch it over to Tyrone. So here, this is good spacing, and then here you're coming across. This is really good control. I would have liked to have seen you go for turning your ball cam off, actually. So here, you knock the ball up, awesome. What I'm most concerned with, actually, is not where the ball is, but the opponent, right? That ball is actually, I think it's going on net right now. So let me check real quick. There we go. Looks like, yeah, this is going to be a goal, actually, looking down the line, right? The funny thing is that you don't even need to hit the ball anymore. What you can do is you can start driving and just go for a demo on Rob, right? But at the same time too, like you can go for the demo or you can go for the pop, right? But I only see you going for the pop, right? You only have one play in mind. The real like focus for you should be not the ball, but like where the threat is on the field, and the threat is being the only thing stopping you from the goal, which is the goalie. If you take ball cam off in this scenario, you can choose whether to go for a demo or a bump, or you can choose to go for a pop if needed. And let me switch over here. Go this way, hard attach. There we go.
With the speed of the ball, though, would he have been able to get to the defender before the ball did?
What do you mean? Like the speed of the ball? It depends, because like he kind of knocks the ball up high, and he's not at supersonic yet. So here, though, he jumps up really early. If he stayed on the ground, he would have kept picking up momentum and then staying near the ball and near the guy, right? So it just depends on the movement of the guy at this point, right? So if the guy still stays low and is trying to like make a stop on the ball in front of net, then he can go for the demo. If Rob is starting to turn in and try to knock it away, then Tyrone can go for a little pop over to whatever side Rob is going to. So considering Rob is moving from right to left like this, or I guess from your perspective, left to right, you can get around the right side of the ball here and then jump up and pop it to the left side and then get it over to this top corner. But you won't see any of that if you don't take your ball cam off to begin with, right? So moving back here, this is just pretending that you have ball cam off, right? This is what you see on the field instead, right? Like this, to me, is more telling of what you should do than you looking at the ball, because, again, you still have your ball line of sight, but you don't have, but you also have the opponent in your line of sight too, and you can tell what he's going to do, and you can make your move depending on what he's going for. So, yeah, now you go for the pop, and not a great hit too. You jump a little early. If you had stayed on the ground a little bit more, you would have caught up to the ball more, and you could have got a harder pop and actually knocked it away, and that would have been a goal. But you jumped up a little bit early, as premature. Here, Toxic, how did you not land? This should have been a quick pass over here, so check to see what happened. I don't really like the jump. It's kind of unfortunate.
I think I landed on him.
Yeah, I think what happened was, well, you landed on your tail, I think, right here. That's what happened. That's unlucky, but I also didn't really like the takeoff. Ideally, let's see here. This is kind of sketch. You can go for this play. You put yourself up, and then you don't really move into it. I would have flipped into this to kind of pinch it hard into him, and it also keeps you against the wall instead of kind of like falling and like relying on your the momentum to carry you into the wall. But ideally, you would have landed on the wall here and then pushed it out mid. But now let me check out Tyronton. I want to see the spacing here. I like the 100. You're using so much boost here, but like not accomplishing anything with it, right? You're really trying to move quickly into a play when there is no play available. So you got 100, that's awesome, right? You've got a lot of time before the next play, so don't waste boost, right? If you really want to catch up to the play, just turn right like you're doing here, but then use a right diagonal flip to get you some momentum into the play while,
yeah, okay.
saving some time as well. And so then here you're using a lot of boost and then turning away. So you got 52, which you just wasted 48 boost for nothing, right? If you still had, let's say, 80 boost, I would assume like probably 80 boost would be pretty appropriate for this play. You could do whatever you want now to this guy, but you only have 46, which isn't great. Ooh, okay, almost there. I like the idea, though. Like, it's good that you were looking at him. You actually don't even need to ever look at this ball. What you can do instead is you can just look at the ground indicator and just look at the ball. As this thing expands, it's getting closer and closer to your car. And I would say just practice that in free play of just knocking the ball really high up in the air, focusing on this indicator on the ground, and learning when that ball is actually falling down so that you never have to look at the ball. You can just keep looking at the opponent and make your shot according to how he moves. But it's not the worst thing in the world for you to take your eyes on the ball. I just think it's a little disorienting having your camera move up in the air and then try to find the spot that you need to hit and then try to shoot it and then try to reorient yourself on the rebound. But I like you going for those kind of plays. I'd rather see you make those kind of attempts, and I think it helps you learn the game better than you not go for that at all. This should be a goal right here. Oh my gosh, that was sketch. Good stop. I would have, so while the path is shorter to cut in, right, which you actually can just cut in immediately and speed flip and hit that ball directly, but if you're not sure on that either, it's actually faster for you with that low of boost to actually collect the boost pad, like boost into the boost pad, and then use the rest of the boost to come in and sideswipe it. But you getting a little anxious here almost, well, you also didn't flip into it. You actually hit it before you flipped. So, was it? You jump up and then hit it and then flip afterwards. So that's why it was so slow. But it's a goal. So just, I guess don't panic is like my main thing on that. Just remember that you have a lot of time because of what happened earlier in the play, right?
He went first.
Yeah, if we pay attention, right, exactly. So you went up for the shot, which this should have been a goal, actually. Hold on. Here. I think you got a little bit eager here, and I think you double jumped on the sound of it, which I don't know if that was a mistake or not. Like, you didn't mean to do that. But you can actually single jump here and then flip into it at a later time. But you also need to not do this spin. This spin kind of took away a lot of momentum you had going into the like uppercut into the ball, and so you ended up like kind of softly knocking into it, which is not great. Tyronton, let me see too, like how you come out of this. Okay, I thought you could see him clearly enough and go for the bump on that guy, but no, that wasn't feasible. So good stop here though, and then you just needed to also pre-flip into it to get a shot off. So, all right. 30 seconds in. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
Lots of notes, but
Lots of notes, yeah. But
shitloads of notes.
there you go. So this should be, you should already be up in the air, Toxic. So
Okay.
this, you want to just get big. You're doing a good job of zoning. I would like to see your car more positioned to the right, like kind of angled this way, because the angle of this guy's car, it's only going to go, to the right. So you should already be facing right, getting ready to take off. And then once he gets that little pop, I'd like to see you get up in the air, not get really high. You want to like kind of match his height, but right when he gets the pop here, right? It's like either he's got to pop it up away or it's an open net, one of the two. So what I'd like to see from you is to create a lot of pressure for this guy to throw the ball down the field. I'm gonna quiz you really quick. Why do I want you to throw yourself out the play and risk you missing the ball to force him to throw the ball down the field?
So, because if he gets past me successfully, then it's just it's to make him toss the ball away.
Okay, and it's good for him to toss the ball away. Why?
Because it will give Tyron plenty of time to adapt to it and get it.
Capitalize on it.
Same, yeah, same as if it was like if someone had if he was to have the ball on top of his car, he's obviously going to go for a flick or something.
Yeah,
it'd be smarter for me to challenge that to make him use his flick. So
right,
and
there's no like Tyrone isn't in a 2v1 situation, right? If you were to throw yourself at the ball and completely miss, right, but Rob is still moving down the field, is it a 2v1? The answer would be no, because this guy went all the way back into this corner and is way back here, right? So he's nowhere near the play. Even if he gets a good flick off, that's a pass to no one, right? And Tyrone can easily intercept that to put that back in play, right? So not a big deal for you to go for this play. In fact, it really helps Tyrone because it clearly communicates what Rob is going to do. If you don't do anything, though, then Rob could do anything on this next play. So that's why you want to get really aggressive in this moment. This guy's alone, basically, and popping it up to himself. You do it anyway, and then Tyrone's able to get like a capitalization on it, so that's fine. But getting big actually would have added the opportunity of you dunking him, but you didn't end up dunking him, so we could have gotten a better play off of that than what you ended up getting. So let's go here. It's a pretty poor touch, just mechanically. That's not really much notes on that, though. It should have been more towards backboard, but let's go back here for a second. This is fine. Like, you're playing more defensively, right? I don't like your shadowing here. This is really, like, you look really lost. So, ideally, what you'd want to do is the ball is on left side, right? He's coming from left to right. That's what he eventually has to do. Shadowing right to left is a little bit harder because it allows this guy a little bit more space to get plays off. If you follow on the left side, what you'd want to do is you want to come here and then come across this way, right? That way you line up on the same side shadowing. This kind of can allow you to close the gap as he moves down the field. You can start inching yourself, to have him closer. So he'll be here. He's coming across this side, right? If you're on this side too and you swerve this way and then this way, you can allow yourself to kind of lag behind, get this guy closer and closer. If he tries to go for a flick, you can double jump and then knock that ball away. If he tries to go for a demo on you, it's really easy for you to kind of just like swerve off to this side, like come off to the right, and then take the ball for yourself. And then if he tries to like 50 it with you, you can actually park your car So let's say he drops the ball on the ground, he's trying to 50 it to his teammate. You can actually park your car kind of like on this side over here, have him smush it into you into the back quarter over here. You can't really accomplish any of those by the position that you're doing here, only because if he goes for the flick, you can still go for the block up high. But if he starts going for different plays, like if he tries to 50 it with you, this guy has a little bit more control over the situation, because if you try to side swipe over from left to right, this guy just has to stop his car with full momentum, and then your momentum of your car is going to push it. Like, you push your car this way, but if this guy sees that you're doing that, he can line his car up more on the right side, rather than if you're in front of him, your left diagonal flip, like let's say if you were parked here, if you left diagonal flip, that happens in an instant moment that he can't react to, and that goes to the corner. Whereas if you're here, the only way you can go is from left to right. So then he knows exactly where you're coming from, and it's like really premeditated, and he can push it over to the left side for his teammate. Also, if he goes for a demo too, this kind of space that you're allowing for here, it allows him more time to start gunning you down. If you start moving over here to catch up to the ball, he'll start moving over here to start catching up to you. And then if you move away this way, then you're moving really far away from the ball, and then his teammate can come across and get a side swipe as well on the ball. So it's just really hard to defend also when you're underneath a play compared to if you're on the side of a play too. When you're down the middle of a goal, it's really dangerous to be in. So if you ever get stuck in this situation, just match up on the same side as him.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
See how I'm behind.
Yeah.
What am I best to just basically switch to the left-hand side and go directly across the back post while he shadows?
Yeah, so this is something that you can do. This is especially true for solo queue, right? So you will get into games where Toxic is your solo queue teammate, where he doesn't know what to do in the game. He's posted himself up in the middle, and it's very awkward for him to do, and this is your opportunity to bail him out of the situation. It kind of depends on exactly where you land, right? But really you should be focusing on your landing here. So after you get the poor touch and you go for another touch, it's like whatever, right? You shouldn't be focused on the ball anymore, though. You should be focused on getting back, right? So your camera should already kind of be off right now, and then you should start boosting into that landing immediately, right? I would have also liked to seen you flip to get to supersonic speed a little bit quicker than what you ended up doing by using boost. But you can start cutting across into the mid and helping like to shadow with your teammate. So if your teammate gets a 50 that's really poor and goes to Rob, you can cut across immediately and get in Rob's face and stop that play from happening from the beginning.
So it's okay for two players to shadow if the occasion is set up for it. Like
yeah, there's a huge misconception that double committing is bad, right? Like generally speaking, yeah, double committing is not the best thing in the world, and like it's not efficient. But there are plenty of moments where it is appropriate to double commit, right? And solo queuing is probably the best example of when double committing is like perfect, because or it can be perfect. When you see your teammate going up for an aerial and you know that they're like not gonna hit it, right? Like it's like, okay, well I gotta go too, right? And you can already tell they're not going for it well, so you gotta go up. Another one is that your teammate is really awkward under the ball, and so you jump up immediately and you're gonna hit the ball before them. So your teammate may go up for the ball, but you know that your hit is better than your teammate's, right? And you can control the next hit. That's where a double commit is perfectly acceptable. Because then it doesn't really end up becoming a double commit, right? It really becomes you fixing your teammate's mistake. Yeah, it's a little bit of a 2v3 for a little bit, right? But you're taking ownership of the play that your teammate is messing up on. Toxic is in a really difficult situation right now for himself because he's in the middle of the field, and it's really hard for him to make a play. If he does make a play, it more times than not is going to be not ideal, right? Whether he gets past him or the 50 goes right into Rob, or it stays with PXM, whatever that guy's name is. But what you can do is you can be a presence on the field so that anywhere that 50 goes, then you can intercept it immediately. It's just that you need to be on the recovery a little bit quicker than what you are now. You could already be at this play, not exactly at it, but pretty close to it. But you just weren't focused on your recovery immediately. You were focused on the ball as you were landing. So that's that. Here, though, it ends up working out. This guy should have been able to score. I don't know if he had no boost in this play. Let me see. Oh my gosh, this guy's super inefficient with his... That's a goal. If this guy just flips into the ball right there, that's a quick shot over into this left side, and that would have been a goal because we don't have anyone on that play. So we got lucky there. And then this is ball gets hit over there. I think the read is a little bit slow from you, but the read is there. I like to see that you are looking for the read. It's just that we could be quicker on that. Unfortunate. That should be a goal, actually. So
I
Here,
went
the
for
hit.
a pass in that play.
Tyrone.
remember.
Yeah, oh, okay, I think that this is a goal, though. I don't think that pass is necessary, though. Because you have this guy
Okay.
coming back, and he's really slow on the play, and you get a big bang. That ball should be at 75 miles an hour into the goal. By the time it
Okay.
reaches the goal, it would be like about 68, but 75 off your car. And all you need to do is, well, you needed to be boosting immediately into this, because you can already see from the guy's hit that it was going to middle, right off of the bounce. Here. Like, you should have already, for some reason you stopped right before to read it, maybe, but it shouldn't have been a stop. You should have already had the confidence to go forward and meet this ball. I would rather see you go full speed and whiff on the ball than you to do what you did just now, because what this tells me is that you weren't sure on what you were doing and you're just guessing on the play and like, I'm gonna hit it down the field and pass it, right? I want to see you like go for it, like knowing I'm hitting this ball down the field because it's my ball, right? Yeah, because if you whiff, it's a mechanical mistake, it's whatever, right? You fix that over time. But with that kind of hesitation, that's where like you kind of need to reassess, like, you know, was that play yours? And it absolutely was yours because your teammate was on it, and I trust him on that play. A little bit awkward on this move. I'm gonna look back on Tyronton on this play just to see like the thought process on this. So close. I think actually you could have let that bounce, and then that was a goal. Let me see. No, not a goal. Never mind. But if you let that ball bounce, it would have slowed its like the ball's momentum would have slowed a bit, and then you could have got around it even more and then left flipped into it to hit it more mid. It would have probably hit off of this sidewall here and then went straight into middle. But you just needed to let that ball bounce to slow itself, and then you would have caught up to it. Yeah,
sure. Rewatch that again.
So I'm gonna put it in slow motion too, actually, so you can see. So the ball is slowing down now, right? Because it bounced off the wall, but you jumped way too close into it and met it too early, and so your car is behind the ball still. If you allow that ball to move a little bit closer to the wall, it's actually going to slow itself down, and you can get the side of your car on it. I don't know if you guys are aware of like how the Rocket League car physics work, but the like kinds of hits that you get are pretty like, it's all centered around the center of mass, right? So if your Octane's center of mass is here, right? Getting a hit on this side is going to generate a lot of forward momentum. Getting a hit here is going to generate backwards momentum. So even if the ball is coming like at you, you know, forward this way, but you hit it with the back of your car side flipping into it, that ball's going to go really hard over backside compared to what it normally would do in real life. And so with allowing that ball to catch up to your car and then hitting it sideways is going to generate kind of a softer hit, but it's going to be way more mid for your teammate. Probably not a goal, but it will be like actually centered and, you know, ready for it to be scored on. So going back one more time. So just a little bit too quick on the jump. Just allow that ball to come into you. Use the backside of your car. Oh, I should probably also describe too. When it's coming here, it's going to bounce up this way. What you'll want to do is you'll want to keep driving over into the corner, jump up in the air, and your car's going to be like this, right? And you want to rotate your car so that the back end kind of like swings off to the left side of the field, right? So you basically have the butt of your car moving this way, right? And then so the front of your car is going to move this way. So you'll face like diagonally, and then you right flip that way. So the butt of your car is moving right side, like into the ball, and that generates more power onto that kind of hit, actually.
Right.
So that's how you would get it more mid. Just you jumping up a little early, it's a little preemptive. The play doesn't have to be as quick as it is, right? You have a lot more time than you think you do on the play. So here, you should have already been up on wall. Though he ends up not hitting it into wall, this is a pretty like easy play for this guy to like kind of knock it to himself, like up the wall and then start meeting it. The positioning you have is like kind of backwards and really defensive. You can get really aggressive on this play and be on the wall already facing down, and then if this guy does hit it off the wall and it comes away, you can either jump off the wall and aerial at it and then intercept it and push it forward down the field, or you can also just come immediately down and wave dash and come into the middle of the field, right? The positioning you have though is you're not able to react to anything Rob has if he's passing it to himself. If he does give it away though, like this, like you can't react to this play and you're allowing Rob an extra hit now. By the way, this boost I do not like. It's like there's so much blocking it. It probably doesn't matter in the moment, but like, I didn't realize how much it blocks your vision. So anyway, maybe it just is in that phrase frame. But yeah, you should already be up on wall because of how that guy's going. And if he doesn't take it up wall, you can easily come back down, right? But turning defensively here, you're allowing Rob an extra hit. You're leaving Toxic in a 2v1. and it's kind of sketch. So now we'll go back to Toxic here. So let me go back here, because this probably is a mishandling of this play. So let's see. We push it down the field, right? Little pass here. Should have been more middle, but it is what it is, right? Here it's fine. This is like one of those things you got to keep your eye on P, like PX or whatever his name is. The catch is a little poor. If you caught it in the front of your car, then you could take it up the wall yourself, but it's fine. Also, the indecisiveness to get the boost, right? You got the 100 boost. Don't focus on the corner boost, right? You're still going. For some reason, you want to go to that corner boost. I'm not really sure why you have 90, but really we should be focusing on getting back to our own goal here. That's just unfortunate, right? Mechanical mistake. It's whatever. I like the idea, though. You know, you're going to go up for a solo play here, and I think it's appropriate for this this play. Nice hit. I don't know what happened here, though. By the way, I'm going to talk about you, Tyrone, on this. Like, you're way too far back for how on offense you guys are. So, good hit here. Oh, okay. Can you tell me what you did wrong, Toxic?
I didn't switch the ball cam.
That's exactly. Yeah. There's, again, only thing you have to focus on. The only thing stopping you from scoring this goal is the one guy that's on their side of the field, right? So, let's take it off here. What is this guy doing right now? He's looking at you, and now he's awkward because he's moving away, right? So you don't even need to do anything in this moment. You can just literally sit here, right, underneath the ball. Watch him the whole time. Keep going underneath the ball, right? Stay right here. And then you can actually bump this guy out of the sky, right? And then this ball's going to kind of like fall into the middle. Or if you're feeling really like good, that you're feeling mechanically on, you can actually shoot this ball too. What you need to do to shoot it, though, is you need to stay under the ball, and you need to hit it from, let's see, right here, underneath on this right side, and then that'll pop the ball like over to that, you know, the goal right there. But you do have to get behind, in front of it to knock it backwards, and then move it over to the right. The only way you're going to accomplish.
To go for the bump, though.
I mean, it's a safer play to go for the bump. Unfortunately, though, the bump isn't going to mean anything because Tyrone's not in the play, right? Which I'll talk about in just a second. But good play. If you stay under it, you can shoot this. I also think a bump is totally appropriate too if you guys are on it and like with the teamwork. So ends up not mattering because this ball does come to the middle. But again, we'll look at where Tyrone is. So ball is like really far down. So let me see. You got the boost, right? Turn defensively, which is fine. Your teammates got it. Now you should be flipping and going full boost right here. You're not at supersonic this entire time that you're going down the field. And then you're stopped in the middle. So ends up working, and that's a goal. So good job. That should have been a goal like 5 seconds ago, though. Like,
out of curiosity, from the point of view of me, so he's up in the air now. Now he's not. Now he's stopped, and he half flips backwards. Would it be considered a double commit? Like, so from right up until now. Okay. Like, I was not to know he'd half flip out. For all I know, he's going to keep trying to push on that ball.
Possibly.
He's going to push on that ball. In one, Toxic's not stupid and he'll half flip out or go out. But in a one, at what point am I double committing? Because he was just going to drive forward and try and push that ball into the goal with a selfish play.
That's a good question.
Again, double committing, right, is like, it's not inherently a bad thing. You have to really pay attention to what your teammate is doing. What, like, exactly, is he going to intercept the ball away from you? Because, again, when you're in solo queue, you've got to think of people as bots, right? Everyone's an AI on the field, right? And the only thing that can affect, like, the game is you, right? You're the only deciding factor. But these bots are going to try to mess you up in a lot of different ways, including your teammate, right? So if your teammate is in this situation in a solo queue game and you're not sure whether he's going to intercept it from you, it's still correct for you to go for the shot, right? But let's say your solo queue teammate turns on the ball really quick and he's trying to go for another hit. You can recognize that he goes for that little turn. You just have to keep your eye on him, not the ball, right? The moment you're looking at the ball and not him, that's where people get lost and they're like, wait, why did my teammate hit the ball randomly, right? It's not really random. You could have seen him hit the ball, right? And then you could have changed your pattern accordingly. So that's where you can be looking at his behavior the whole time. The main thing I have a problem with is also the hustle, though, right? You're not even near the play by the time that happens, and you can be more observant as you're closer, too. The further away you are, the harder it is to tell exactly what your teammate's doing. So if we're looking at you from afar, right? You're moving really slow into that side of the field. You could have already been, like... I'm imagining, like, for me, like, you should be speed flipping into this. You're totally on offense. You should already be, like, about here on this side of the field, right?
So
which is pretty significant actually, because by the time the ball gets here, you can already be on it, and then this is your shot now, right? And you keep approaching it until you see your teammate intercepting that ball away from you. He's not intercepting it away from you the whole time, so then you go for the shot. If you see your teammate about to mess you up, you got to either 50 them or you got to give up on the play, you know?
Okay. Is there so the error was made in maybe being too inquisitive and slow decision making, as well as obviously I'm too far back. But at this point here, me stopping or me, is that poor decision making? Like the error was.
The error is really like when orange. So you got to think of it as possession, right? Orange has possession as far as you know, right? Then right on this hit, blue has possession of the ball. Like right in this freeze frame, blue has possession. Your mind should be going to like it's a 2v1, right? That should be your mindset. And you see that blue is on it, orange is lagging behind. Orange is really awkward. This is like your moment to attack. You need to be on it. You need to be at supersonic, like max speed right now to get down the field in case that ball rolls in front of the goal, right? And you only have a limited window of opportunity.
5 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
1 5-second skip back. Now, can we spin camera to show the opponent pushing the ball towards the wall?
Oh, sure. Like you mean get it onto like the opponent right here?
So theoretically, if Toxic didn't touch that, was I in the right spot?
It's not terrible. I mean, you are pretty far back, right? But if Toxic isn't able to get this play, like, you know, you got to be defense, right? And I think it's fine where you are. I wouldn't change like your positioning too much, though. I think how you got there is a little slow. Again, but I think the biggest error that we should really focus on is that the possession changed where blue has possession here, and it's a 2v1, but you're not at supersonic.
Okay, all right.
To here, like a lot of confusion from the enemy team here, and you end up getting the shot too. So you end up recovering the play really nicely. It's a goal, like perfect. We move on. However, this could have been much more improved on by the fact of like recognizing your team has possession, you got to go. And or not only your team has possession, but you have the advantage. So check here. Okay. I want to see how Toxic challenges this real quick. This is fine. You should definitely attack this really hard here, right? So bounces, and then it's over the top of PX's car. So you can see this, and you're like, okay, he's awkward. You should be approaching this really fast, right? But you don't commit yet. You approach it really fast and see what PX's move is going to be based on you going fast, right? This guy might not even recognize that you're coming right at him, right? And that will be awesome for you because it's an open net, right? But if he does recognize it, he's going to throw that ball away randomly, right? And then that's awesome for you because then it's a 2v1. So, but you should be approaching this really hard and really fast and try to get it off PX's head. But you take a little bit too much time, and then you take the 50. He ends up winning the 50, and now they have possession of the ball, and they do nothing with it because this is diamond. But like what you should be focusing on here is how awkward the play is, right? It's the same thing in solo queue when you're recognizing teammates that are awkward and you want to take the ball off their head. The moment that you recognize that your opponent's awkward, that's when you want to take it off their head too. So here, if you put yourself in his shoes, I'd be like, what the hell am I doing, right? Like, let me go to this guy's camera. Look at this right here. He misses it, right? This is his camera. This guy has absolutely no idea what's happening on the field of play. He is completely Stevie Wonder blind right now. Like, it's like super bad for him and his team. This is your opportunity to absolutely just score this ball right off the top of his head. But you were a little bit too cautious. You took the 50. He wins the 50. And it ends up being bad for your team. But it's not actually bad because he completely misses the ball. So it's whatever. Tyronton, this is a pretty risky boost take right here. This is actually your ball on this play. So you're really far away, but this is a ball you intercept, and this is your possession. So the ball gets 50'd on this side and is going to the sidewall. My first thought process, right, is that if a 50's happened, most of the time, the people who were involved in the 50 are still trying to land, right? And they're going to take some time to land, which means you, as the person that's observing from far away, have the speed advantage on it, right? Can you catch up to this ball before this guy lands? And absolutely, right? Like, this guy's barely landing here, and if you were already going at the ball on the freeze frame, you would be, like, meeting this ball before that guy even got to it. So we'll see him, too. Like, and you got to think, what kind of play is this guy going to have to make to catch up to it? The best thing he can do is fast aerial up and try to get a pinch play on up high. but also he took a 50 really hard into it, and he shouldn't be looking at you, right? It should be really difficult for him to recognize whether he should go for a pinch play up high. You going for this play is like really quick, and if he goes for a pinch play and you're not intercepting the ball, he's using all of his boost to get that kind of play going without you even, being involved in the play yet. So you have a huge advantage over information and speed, but you're choosing to play defensively here. So generally speaking, when it comes to like 50s and whatnot, and you're the one observing from the outside, the people involved in the 50s are going to be slow. So you have the advantage, right? Go towards the ball and recognize whether you still have the advantage as you're going near it. Okay?
Okay, yep.
Okay, cool. So here, it's kind of sketchy. You should be matching up this guy. You already have a defender, right? Like, Toxic is moving in the backfield, right? He is already... You got to think of him as Toxic is the goalie already, which means you're the one that has to go downfield and, buy some time, right? But you're allowing this guy to push it past you. Now, Toxic is in a super awkward position now. So let me go back to Toxic, right?
So saying be more assertive on who's in defensive position.
Yeah. So that is a confusing play. Wow. But Toxic, this is where you can also recognize, like, I don't know if you guys are talking about this particular play in comms, but from my perspective here, I'm thinking like, okay, your goalie is over on the right side of the field. It's pretty awkward for him to try to go for a stop from right to left on this play. Since that if this ball does pinch off really bad, you guys have a really poor defense position here versus the guy that's in goal already and, far side. It's better for you to generally challenge these kind of plays so you can approach this play again and see what Rob is going to do with the play. He ends up moving away, so that's kind of poor. Here, though, like, again, Rob is approaching the play, and you need to get there quick. You need to flip into these plays before they happen, right? You can't rely on boost and staying on the ground to get you from place to place. You need to use your flip to generate a boost of speed. You got to think of flipping as, like, extra speed, like an emergency speed boost, right? So that good switching off ball cam, too, to actually check on, the next play going on. So this is good. This should be a big bang, though. Oh my gosh, you use a lot of boost here. So the whiff is one thing, right? But it's more about like how you approach this play to begin with, right? You took it really slow and really wide, right? Like we're looking at here, you're taking it from like starting from here and hitting the ball to like coming across this side. Whereas you really should be coming across here, grabbing the boost pad, and then getting ready for a big bang over into the midfield for your teammate. So
okay.
It's more about the approach, not the whiff, right? Whiffs happen, but just recognizing, I guess, the line of sight that you had. Wow, that is a super poor hit for them. So, Tyrone, this is, like, good for you guys. You're also, by the way, using boost at supersonic, which is not good, so hold on. You're at supersonic right now. Do not use any more boost, right? You have 48 boost. By the time you get to the ball, you collected a boost pad, too, right? So, let's see. So yeah, you collected a boost pad and you have 36. So if you take away 12, 24, so you wasted, what was that? 18 boost for free. But this guy either scores the goal or he misses it, right? If this guy throws it into the midfield, right, and this is sitting in the middle of your goal, but this guy like flipped into it, there's no shooter, right? There's no absolutely no threat, right? So if the guy does shoot the ball and score, like it's whatever, you couldn't save it to begin with, right? But if this guy misses though, it's an open net, like for their side, for orange side of the field. So what you should be playing on the fact that is like, if this guy misses, I'm gonna score the ball, not I'm trying to save the ball from going in the net, okay? Because the ball, if it's going into net, it's already a goal. So don't even worry about it. You going directly back here, not great because now, well, you end up getting caught up on this guy, but you also use up a lot of boost to not really accomplish much on the play. So here, this is fine. Oh, wow, this is a lot of confusion on the play. So, but yeah, this is an open net opportunity. So you don't need to touch this one here. Like, I understand, like, you pass it back to your teammate, right? It's over, right? You did it. It's done. What you can do instead, Toxic, is switch on your reverse cam just to see, like, is anyone approaching directly behind you? And if so, I would actually, if there was someone behind you, either you should go for a quick push into the corner, right? Or what you can do is you can keep your reverse cam on and you can try to go for a backflip into the guy that's trying to go for the ball and bump him out of the way to give Tyrone space to make a hit. But hitting it again is just going to confuse Tyrone. And also, this is generally speaking for solo queue teammates. If you're trying to go for a pass back, you got to make it the most obvious pass back possible. If you're like, oh, I got to get one more, it's probably too late already, right? So just leave it alone. Just let them do their thing. Like, if you didn't get a good pass back to begin with, that's on you, right? Like, it is what it is. So that's fine though. So let's go back here. Let's see. Coming back. This should be a big bang. Unfortunate. You didn't get underneath the ball on that, so you can turn around here. Good catch. There's a good control. Okay, not a lot of boost here. I think this just kind of is a result of like everything that's kind of happened up until now. Like all the boost that's been wasted over time ends up catching up to you over time, right? So if we consider like the 18 boosts that you wasted earlier, as well as all the pads that you ended up missing too, I would expect you by the time of this to at least have 45 boosts in this play, if not 60. But you know, it is what it is. You also should be like drifting into that boost pad over there. Every boost pad does matter. And so this could be your dribble opportunity, but it doesn't end up working. You get a good pass off, so like, you know, you drop it to your teammate. ToxicAU should be approaching this a lot faster because Tyrone has possession of this ball and like he's, you know, covering it. If Orange does push this away, you can get a stop on it no matter what angle this guy's Orange is hitting it at, whether it's right, left. It's not going to go left enough for you to not be able to flip into it, and if it's going right, you're going to be able to follow it anyway. So we should be approaching a little bit more aggressively on this, but good hit to not like overcommit on this play, though you should be like charging at the ball too to create a 50 opportunity into the corner here to get it out mid again. Just recognizing that. He kind of passes it mid for you, so that's kind of nice. I think this is really confusing for Tyrone. I'm not totally sure. I'm going to look at it from his perspective, but this is, okay, so yeah. It ends up being really confusing for Tyrone, in my opinion, when I see these kind of plays. So Toxic, I would advise you, especially for solo queue, and I guess this also applies to you, Tyrone, though I haven't seen as much of it from you. But if you're staying too long into a play, that can create a lot of anxiety for your random teammates, right? When I look at this and I'm solo queuing with people and I see them constantly hovering over the ball, I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know at this point, like, why are they moving so confidently into this play? Do they have a lot of boost? Like, are they going to get a touch? Are they faking? Like, I have no idea what you're doing in this play. And so I'm going to play more passively because you either are getting a pass over to me or you're trolling right now, right? It's one of the two. And in this case, you're trolling right now by kind of just moving away from the play and getting a little bit too aggressive. Instead, what you should be focusing on is just when your play ended, right? You went for the stop here, it's going out to mid. You should be thinking to yourself, if it's going out into mid, my teammate that should be in mid is going to be making a play next on it, right? It's his turn to make the play. If he is completely back as a goalie, that's fine because you should be heading back as well to get boost, and then you'll cut off the midfield play once you get the mid boost that's right here, right? Assuming it's up. I don't know. Replays are super broken, right? But you can come here and then start cutting across mid if your teammate is all the way back into net on this side. If he does go for the play, you can collect the boost mid, and then you can cycle back into the midfield, right? But you're trying to get the flow of the play moving, not trying to, like, you know, you're basically suffocating your teammate on his play. So be aware of that, and that is really a solo queue thing to go for. And it ends up creating enough space. Like, they end up scoring off of this. There's probably a lot of reasons why this ended up happening. Should have been saved, like, you know, is what it is. You have a lot more time than you think you do, I think, right? Like, this ball is very low. By the time it actually ends up entering the goal, right, it's at this height, you know? It's not that threatening of a play, but you felt pressured. You had to go, right? I think if you just approach plays quicker, you will give yourself more freedom to, you know, counteract a play, right? But I don't think you give yourself enough time for most of the plays. Okay. So I think we covered a lot. I'm going to kind of like go through in the flow of things now, because I think that we've hit a lot of like different points. Again, it's like the type
My
of...
list is ridiculous.
Possibly, you know. I'm gonna
ridiculous.
consolidate it to main things that I think you should focus on, you know, at the end of this, right? But this was a really good 50, by the way. I don't know where you are, Toxic. You're kind of chilling back. This is like definitely a play where there's a lot of space on the field. Like, you know, this is a 50 opportunity. We're moving into this play. This is all you. You should shoot this. Oh, it's taking a long time to get there, right? Like, you should already be on the ball. Like, you have all this open space. Like, you need to be on the play immediately. I like it. I see you miss it, but I like you going for those kind of plays to test out mechanically what you can and can't do.
I'm still trying to adjust to the downwards. So once the ball starts going down, and I have to sort of adjust for the down, I forget how much boost you really need to get back up again and lift that car back up.
Yeah.
It's been a long work in progress trying to learn that crap. For me.
It's definitely difficult. It takes a lot of like practice on that. Let me go back here real quick. I think the landing ends up being poor. That's really what it is. I think you just need to work on your landing, which is true. Ooh, that is rough. That's mostly because you're playing a little bit too close on that play. Like you're playing near post at this point, right? So it's just kind of like, it's really hard to make any defensive stop when you're like this. Again, I don't remember if you remember this, but like going through the gate, right? And then staying on the inside here. And then as that ball comes up, you can come up here and then get a knock away, like up high.
Yeah.
So decent pinch. They're going to get possession of it. This is all you. Oh, man. You got to go confidently into those aerials, definitely. I noticed Toxic when it comes mechanically to your aerials, right? Oh, this is not good. Like, again, you felt the need to jump into that play, but it's not, like, not the time. You have a lot of space. You need to focus on the opponents and see where the actual threat on the field is, not just the need to hit the ball, right? Good control over that. Good job. This is a good... Like, it ends up being, like, kind of behind him, but the idea is right, so... Anyway, going back to you, Toxic, though. Mechanically, what you should be going for... Oh, this is an interesting play. Mechanically, you should be, like, following through on your aerials. Like, the most important thing you should be focusing on when you're aerialing is your takeoff. You've got to just commit on your boost, right? The really good counterattack right here. You should be posted up, Toxic. Like, like, right here... You've hit the ball. The only way Rob is going to get it away from goal is by hitting it into you. So when you land here, stay right where you are in this moment. So if the ball stays along the wall, you push it right back. And then if it comes off the wall, you can actually drive away and then right flip into it to get it back into, you know, the middle. So, but you move away a little bit too quick and then it's too awkward and then now it's kind of weird. So yeah, anyway, on your aerials, though, you need to follow through, right, and get speed. That's how you get powers on your aerial, is by following through. If you're constantly, like, adjusting and trying to stop, then you're going to end up getting really weak hits. So, here, you had a lot of opportunities to stop this, dude. You have 93 boosts. I don't know why you're not aerialing at this, actually, taking it away. This is not their ball. They've lost possession of it once they hit it down the field. And I think that might be a main part of your game, Tyron, that you'd really need to focus on, is the change of possession, right? Orange still has the ball. Orange lost the ball. Like, right in this moment. So now you should be thinking, oh, it's my ball, right? Like, it's the instant change of possession. Just because it has an orange trail does not mean that you can't go for that play. So, yeah, you go up. What you want to do is you want to get also in front of the ball to pop it away and, like, behind and really softly. Then you land on the wall. And then you can aerial with the rest of your boost and hit it, you know, back into mid. So, but you're buying your team time by doing that, right? You're allowing him too much space to do what he wants to do. You allowed him to do what he wants to do. You're basically like, you're playing against diamonds, right? And when you give these guys as much space as possible, you're allowing them to play like diamonds. Oh, this is some confusion right here. Not ideal. I don't know what happened there. But, yeah, if you allow these guys all the space in the world, you're allowing them to play like diamonds. If you choke them out on these plays and really put pressure on them, then you're making these people play like plats instead, or like golds. And it's way easier to beat plats than it is to beat diamonds. So that just was like a car comfort thing. You should be able to, like, you ended up tilting your car away from the wall when it wasn't necessary. Like, so what happens here is ball comes off the wall, right? Here, you can take off and actually get underneath the ball and, like, push it away, but you kept driving forward into the corner, and the corners are the worst place to jump off of. So just, like, keep in mind, like, you never jump off of any corner, whether it's this corner here or the corner walls that are over here or the corner ceilings, which are up here, right? Just never jump off of corners. So if you're on the sidewall, that's the moment to jump. If you're going into the corner, you better be thinking, okay, I need to jump on the sidewall, not this wall, you know? You can't jump from here, though. So that's why that play, you get, like, no height off of it because of the corner. So yeah, but anyway, Toxic, follow through on your aerials.
Okay, yeah.
Nice. Oh, if you flipped into that, that was a goal. That was an open net opportunity. So here, this is fine. Like, they should have possession of it. Like, boost. Okay, this is fine. Okay. You had a lot of space here, Tyron. So this is a really poor touch by Toxic. So let me go back here real quick. This is, again, super passive. You don't even need to jump up for this ball. Passing it over to the right side of the field is like whatever, but you can get possession of this ball instead, actually, and create an even stronger play rather than handing it backwards and then wasting a lot of boost. Like this ball is going into you with no contention, and then you hit it way too far back for Tyrone to get a good hit on it. But Tyrone, once you recognize that this ball is backwards, you actually have enough time to turn around this way, like that. Go left around and then come across, and then you'll be facing the ball head on, and you'll get a really strong hit if you want to, or you can go in for a dribble play, but you have really low boost, so might not be ideal. I'd probably just throw the ball down the field just to buy yourself time for a boost. Here, big hit. Let me go back this way. Okay. Jump up way too early, and again, you don't follow through on your boost again. So right, this is a. Like, you don't need to go up for an aerial at all. You can actually just catch this ball and go into midfield because this guy's not going up at all in the air. But if you're going to go up for the air, like, you stop your car so many times. And I mean, let's look at the path you take, too, on your aerial. Like, these are the kind of aerials you're taking. It's like this. You know, we need you to, like, follow through and, like, really, like, spearhead your way into the ball if you're going to go for that kind of aerial. Otherwise, like, I mean, the part of the ball that you hit it, you can double jump this high, right? So why even aerial? The main thing is that you're jumping too early, right? Like, just focus on the ball. If you're jumping, you're boosting, right? Do not let go of the boost unless you're like, shoot, I'm moving too fast, right? That's the only time that you should be, like, thinking about that. But I want to see you spearhead yourself into the ball. So let's go here now.
Okay.
Tyrone, you're really far back. It's kind of unfortunate. You can start approaching this ball now. You're already, like, you have a goalie right now. Like, Toxic is going to goal, and this guy is not, and does not have good possession of it. He's still sideways to the ball at this point, right? You gotta go and get this ball, like, off this guy's head, right? Good play to just get it off to the side. Let me see Toxic. You should already be moving to the right side. Tyrone is so far left that the only way this ball is going is to the right, right? Like, it's just, he's so far left. So that's why I was like, you should have been already on the ball. And then you did not pay attention to orange. It looked like you got completely bamboozled by this guy just hitting the ball like this. So again, like, you guys should stop looking at the ball so much. Look at your opponents to see what they're doing, right? And it'll kind of inform you on where the ball's going to go anyway, right? I don't know if... I don't really have much experience with, like, other sports, like, but football is a main example I can think of where when you're a cornerback, like, which is basically, I don't know how familiar with American football you guys are, but, like, when the quarterback is passing the ball to his receiver, right, you know, he's throwing the ball up really high, the receiver is looking at the ball, right, trying to catch the ball. The cornerback is the guy defending the receiver. He's, like, trying to knock the ball away from the receiver. The cornerback is not looking at the ball the whole time. He's looking at his receiver, right, that he's defending against. The moment that the receiver looks up at the ball to catch it, that's what clues him in that the ball is coming. And then that's when he can make his move, right? But the whole time he's focusing on the receiver to watch his movements and see, like, where he's going to go, whether he's juking left to right, if he's, like, faking and whatnot, or if he's just sprinting down the field, right? It isn't until that guy makes a behavioral change, which is his eyes lock onto the ball, that the cornerback is also like, oh, that's my moment to go, right? And then he makes the move, right? And that's the same kind of mentality you have to take into Rocket League, where it's like, you should be looking at these guys' behavior, and the moment that you see these guys turn into the ball, you already know they're going for it, right? And you can match up to where that ball's going to be after that point. Or, you know, if you're taking a 1v1 play, you can see exactly where they're defending, and then you can knock it to the opposite side where they're going to go. You might need to work on your dribbling a little bit too, like getting it on top of your head. So it's pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive play.
Actually,
too.
at that point in that game, I was like, slow it down. You got heaps of time. Get it on your car.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Good job going for the play. This could have been definitely a hard shot on net. It's just a matter of following through. You kind of take a long time to boost into it, actually, if we look at you from here. You jumped off the wall, like, and didn't start boosting until there, right? Again, if you follow through with boost to begin with, you're gonna get a lot of power on this hit, actually, and there's the whole right side of the goal open. So if you hit it towards that right side, it is a goal again. So their ball, nice, is all you. Ooh, okay. This took a little bit longer than it should have, but really good demos on this play. So it opens up again for another opportunity. Again, going for it. I would flip here just to, like, recover off of that play. But again, like you're experimenting, you're going for it. It's fine, and I think that it's okay if you do end up getting that play off.
So just then, if you go back a little bit, when you saying before flip into the play, is this what you mean that I did?
Yeah. So you jumped right here. You single jumped, and then right here you lost control of it. Here
No,
is
no,
where I
no.
would tell you to flip. Oh, sorry.
Wrong person. Wrong person.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally sorry.
No, you're right. It's a little bit further now.
A little bit further forward or backwards.
No. Okay. Keep letting it play on. You'll say it, man.
Yeah.
Not that. It's the next.
Next play.
I think it's in like 5 seconds, possibly. We'll see. You'll see. I remember you told me before I should like flip into it to contest it earlier.
Oh.
So,
Let me see.
So
that play?
right now.
Oh, that play. Oh, okay. Yes, this play.
Is that the type of thing you were meaning?
So that, like this kind of play where you flip, pre-flip into it, right? To get yourself closer to the ball quicker. Exactly, right? Like you need to get yourself that speed boost right there. And I think you need to implement that like in other parts of the field though too. Not just like where it's right on the goal line or anything, but midfield, like all the in-between moments, those do matter. And if you guys watch pro gameplay, you're going to see these people flipping everywhere, right? Their camera's going to be on and off all the time. They're going to be flipping all over the field, right? And they're choosing moments to flip when they know that they have an opening to get speed, right? And so this was a moment where it was good, right? You got some speed that you needed to. It was like a little bit like kind of sketchy because you're on the underside of your car when you hit it, but it ends up working out fine, so. This is kind of sketch too. You should be taking off your camera, Tyrone, just to look at who, again, the threat is on the field, right? Toxic is trying to go for a play, and let's remove Toxic's name completely, right? Like, if this guy is literally just like a solo queue guy, if you take your ball cam off here and then you start focusing this way, you can just check to see, like, you know, which orange guys are on the field right now. There's absolutely no shooter in this play, right? So you don't even need to like worry about a threat on the field. You just look at this right here and then just pay attention. Then you turn ball cam back on to see where orange is like, you know, intercepting the ball. And there we go. Like, you know, it's not as threatening as it could be, right? But again, we need to get like, you know, vision on it. So see Toxic where you ended up going on this play, right? Big hit, but you're like way too far back to make a stop here. So this is your ball. Okay, your ball, because again, like this guy flips right here. He's got no chance to catch up to it for a little bit, and the ball's coming at you, right? So this guy has to travel at the ball to catch up to it, while the ball's coming to you to get to it. So actually, you can intercept this ball. By the time this guy goes up and has a chance to contest it, the ball is over here, right? So if we watch at the point that this guy like hit the ball, so I'm gonna put a little dot here to mark where the ball is, right? Okay. And then we're gonna scoot back this way. The guy hit the ball. I just heard it right now, like in my screen. So he hit the ball there. I'm going to kind of like move it off to the side. There we go. So the ball would actually be over here, right? By the time it comes in. Oh, whoops. Totally fucked that up. There we go. So by the time the ball comes over here, like this guy was like, you're not even moving at all into this play. The gap this guy had to close from out here to where you are right here, right? This space is so much smaller than this space. This guy had to move to 60% of the screen to get to where the ball is. You had to move across 40% of the screen. You would have beat this guy by 20% like of speed. But you didn't approach this play at all. I think you were just kind of cautious because you're like, oh, I'm last back, right? That means I have to play goalie. But that's not the case, right? It's really like you're last back, so you need to find the opportunity to intercept the ball. And that's the moment that you can intercept the ball. So this is, you have a lot of time. Toxic, you should be going for a demo here. This is like you, like Toxic, this is like your chance to be the shot caller. Generally speaking, the guy who doesn't have the ball can be the shot caller, right? Because he can see more of the field generally than the guy with the ball. And so you can notice like, hey, there's an orange guy on this side of the field. So it's a 1v2. You just beeline, take your ball cam off, beeline for the goal, and just go for a demo and try to mess that guy up. Tyrone, you can literally drop the ball off your head and push that ball with the front of your car, and Toxic just goes for a demo on the guy and tries to get even a bump, right? Anything to stop the guy from going. But like, again, we'll put it in this guy's situation. This is what this guy's doing. This guy is so scared right now, but you guys are doing this like back and forth play and slowing the play down so much. I would be so relieved if I was this guy. I'd be like, oh my God, like the 1v2 scenario, they made it like long enough for me to get back. So Just kind of think outside the box on that, right? If it's a 1v2 and doubles, go for the demo play. Oh, wow. We got lucky there. Oh, man. If you forward flipped into that, that was going to be a really good pass. So close. Good spacing, by the way, Toxic. This is, like, really good spacing here. But it's, like, the pass doesn't get all the way over on that side. Let's see here. Again, this is, like, your shadowing is just, like, really... Oh, that gosh. Yeah. It's like, you come over to the left side, which is fine, but then you come across middle again. Yeah, you were, like, doing fine here, and if you just stayed on this side, then the ball would be coming into you. You'd allow that ball to come into you, and then you'd push it over into the corner, right? But you got underneath the ball, then it's really difficult. This guy sets up a 50 and ends up shoving it through, right? So that is the game. It was a long game. It was a 2-minute and 18-second overtime. But the main things that I saw from this game, right, is that Tyrone, I really liked the plays you were going for, right? Like, I like the mechanical, like, experimentation that you're doing. I think the best way that you can keep working at that is going into free play, right? And, you know, hitting the ball as hard as you can, just constantly moving across the field, right? And generating plays. So let me go here, turn that back on, go into my training, right? And your free play should literally consist of you going wild in free play, right? It should be you. Oh, I should probably turn. I like to keep unlimited boost on the entire time so you can keep plays going, but you should be going for whatever play you can. Like, however you land into a play, you should be going into the next one, right? Like, even if it seems unfeasible, right? Like, you go in here, you can hit the ball like this, right? Ball goes up high, you go for another push, right? You come down here, go for another, like, hit. I don't really care, right? The goal isn't to have, like, a single play in mind, but see how I'm, like, going for random things and there's no real thought process, right? But I'm always going for another hit on the next play, right? And, like, you're trying to experiment with really uncomfortably mechanical plays so that when you get to a play, right, that you have to, you know, go up for something, like, kind of uncomfortable, right? Ooh, dang. You'll get, like, into that situation already in free play, and then, you know, you can take it from there. So that's what I want to see you do, is, like, literally go buck wild in, like, these games, right, in, like, free play. Oh, dang. But yeah, and it's okay if you miss, right? You're just going into the next play over and over and over again, just kind of wildly hitting it. No plan whatsoever, just focus on recovering. Next hit, next hit, next hit, right? And just always, even if you don't think you can go for it, do it anyway, right? Like, see here, like, I'm landing on the wall. I probably can't get it, but I'm jumping off anyway to see what I can do, right? So, and then just recovering into the next play. And that'll work on your speed, as well as, like, kind of just getting you comfortable with, like, your car, like, you know, up in the air, right? So I'm going to try to go for, like, a pinch play, like, onto the ground. I miss it. It's whatever, right? And that's how you get, like, in general, more comfortable with your car. Just, like, kind of go wild, put yourself into weird situations. It'll also help you with your recovery because you're trying to go fast, go fast, go fast. And, you know, you'll end up beating people kind of naturally, right? Even if you mess up on a play mechanically, you'll already be recovered to hit the ball again, and you'll get it around those people. And you've probably ran into those people that are ball chasers where you're like, gosh, this guy doesn't get off the ball. That can be you too, right? If you mess up, you know, and whatnot. Ideally, you won't mess up, but even if you do, how you recover will net you some wins as well. So I liked seeing you mechanically, like, you know, experiment and everything. I want to see you keep doing that. Focus on free play in between games and whatnot, and just going wild in them, and, like, really put yourself into uncomfortable situations. I also like the control you had, like, you know, staying on the ground and allowing that ball to bounce up high, rather than just flipping into every single ball you went into. So really good, like, you know, different thought processes on how to, like, approach the ball. Like, you're allowing yourself to stay grounded when you can, right? The main problems I had, though, is your lack of understanding of the possession change, right? You got to recognize, like, you know, hey, like, opponents have the ball, like, I'm on defense, right? Or the opponent threw away the ball, it's my ball now, right? And I'm intercepting it, right? It's really taking ownership over that. And so really pay attention to those opponents and whether they have the ball or not, as well as, you know, you can kind of get rid of the anxiety of random teammates, you know, intercepting those balls from you if you just do the same treatment that you do to your opponents as you do to your teammate, right? Where you're like, is my teammate taking this away from me? And you're looking at him, not the ball. And then you can, you know, make more informed decisions on that. So really focus on the possession change. And then Toxic, I think, like, a big thing, like, you know, is especially when it comes to mechanically, you need to focus on following through on your aerials, right? A lot of your aerials were extremely weak because you were, like, kind of feathering your boost, trying to, like, get the perfect angle for the aerial, but the perfect angle when you're like having no, momentum into it is just giving the ball away, right? And you're also wasting a ton of boost by getting no power on it at all, too, because you're throwing the ball away and then you wasted a bunch of boost feathering. You want to just get a bunch of power on it, and if you miss the ball, like, okay, work on your takeoff, right? But right now, I want you to forget the feathering, unless, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Of course, like if you have to feather because you're already at supersonic in the air, it's like, okay, yeah, of course you would feather in that moment, right? But if you're starting off with not a lot of momentum, but you're still feathering your boost, you're doing something wrong, right? You need to get that speed going in the first place. So
could he jump into an aerial training pack and just literally jump, hold down boost, and get comfortable pushing?
I mean, there's a ton of these things. I mean, you can go into redirect packs too and just follow through on these. I think I have a ton of them in here. I don't know, like they're all over the feature like thing, but let me see where it is. I think they double tap playground is one. It's really nice. This is one that I'd imagine you would be feathering like this, trying to go for like the perfect touch, right? Like trying to get that. When in reality, you should be coming up immediately, right? And like going for this touch right here and then trying to get like another touch, Like keep following through on your boost to get that power, right? Yeah. You should be like following through, right? Like your car needs to go confidently in the air so that you can, and again, like you see me feathering just to get like the tight control, but you want to get the speed. If you're not at the proper speed, forget feathering, right? You get to the speed, then you can feather. So, but yes, you can use this like pack if you want it. I don't know if you have the double tap playground one, but I think this is really good to just like practice like going like into it like at full speed and then like, getting the power to generate it, right? This one, it's like a pretty good pack, I think, in general, just to work on like speed and whatnot. So there we go.
Right.
So, what else is going on? And then, decision making wise too. Both of you need to work on hustle too. Everywhere on the field, right? Like you should be moving into the next play. Like this game is pretty stressful, actually. Like when you're talking about playing at the highest level, right? Like you are constantly moving and like going fast. Like I guess stressful might be the wrong word to use, but you are like constantly going. You need to be on the field. The gameplay is going to pick up really tight. And if the opponents aren't ready, you should be ready to capitalize on them. And if you aren't ready, your opponents are already ready, right? So really just like if there's a moment where you're like kind of just slowly moving down the field, you need to beat it into your head, right? Like, hey, I need to move down the field like faster, right? Or if you're slow to a play, like if you get 50'd, you got to think to yourself, could I have beaten that guy? Like the answer should almost always be yes at Diamond. It's almost always like you should be able to just go at that play and like beat that guy by a mile. And if you miss, it's whatever, right? Like you going for the play is more important than you not going for the play and not knowing what went wrong, right? At least if you went for the play and messed up, you knew what happened, right? But if you never go for the play, it's a lot harder for you to tell what went wrong.
Learn, don't wait. Or you
Yes,
won't learn.
exactly. Learn, don't wait. Those are the main things I'd focus on for both of you, though. And then you'll see some progress. And basics, right? Just picking up boost pads like every time you can. So.
Wonderful.
But yeah, any questions? To close it out from you guys.
I'll probably have a million after the video, but after we're finished, I'll be like, fuck, why didn't I ask him? But I'll write them down. Maybe I can tomorrow or the next day. I'll probably be working tomorrow. I'll be like, oh god, that would have been a perfect one. So maybe could I just shoot you a text or something?
Yeah, if you got like quick questions, right? Feel free to shoot me a message and I'll answer it when I can, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course, yeah, no problem.